My name is Ashley, and I live a peaceful, happy life with my husband, John. However, there's one problem, my sister-in-law, Rachel. My brother and Rachel have a daughter named Ida. Ida is 3 years old, and John and I love her. She's an adorable niece we enjoy spending time with. We don't mind watching her sometimes, but Rachel brings Ida over almost every week. Ashley, can you watch Ida again this week, please? She asks. Okay, I reply, and Ida happily runs from the doorway into our living room, where John is relaxing. I assume he'll keep an eye on her, but I decide to talk to Rachel about it. John and I really love Ida, but watching her every week is a bit overwhelming. Even though we work from home as freelancers, I'm an illustrator, and John is a programmer. It's hard to balance childcare and work when we're busy. As freelancers, we set our own schedules, but we still have deadlines, and watching Ida can be a big distraction. We can't let anything happen to her while she's with us, so I end up working on my tablet and keeping an eye on her at the same time. I felt bad bringing it up because I didn't want to cause issues between Rachel and my brother, but I couldn't take it anymore. I'm really sorry, Rachel, but could today be the last day we watch Ida? Rachel's face turned angry as I asked her, even though I tried to be polite. By the time I realized I'd made a mistake, it was too late. Rachel raised her eyebrows and snapped at me. You wouldn't understand, Ashley, since you don't have children. Raising kids is hard. You have no idea how difficult it's been to raise Ida so far. Stop complaining when you don't even have a child. Her words felt like knives to my heart. She didn't know that John and I had been trying to have children, but I have a condition that makes it extremely difficult for me to get pregnant. We went to a doctor and started fertility treatments, which are exhausting and expensive. Every month, we hope for good news, and every month we feel the stress and disappointment. Being blamed for not understanding because I don't have kids hit me deeply, especially given everything we're going through. But Rachel didn't stop there. Unlike you two, who just stay at home all the time, I'm a sociable person. I have friends who rely on me, and today I'm going to London to see one of them. I left Ida with you because I know you're home. You should appreciate the fact that I'm doing something for you too. With that, Rachel, dressed up and smelling of perfume, turned and left. I walked back into the living room, where John, who had overheard everything, was unusually angry. I didn't want to make a scene in front of Ida, so I stayed quiet, but that was harsh, he said. It's been about a month now since Rachel started bringing Ida over every week. I decided it was time to discuss things with my brother, Chris, so I gave him a call. Hello, Chris. Oh, hey, Ashley, it's been a while, how are you? I was already feeling annoyed from my recent argument with Rachel, so I replied a bit sharply. Hey, Chris, Ida is a sweetheart, but it's hard on us if she's here every week. John and I have deadlines to meet as freelancers, and a little consideration would help. He sounded confused. Ida? She's sleeping at home right now. What? That didn't make sense. He even sent me a picture of her sleeping, and it was clearly Ida, but younger than the child Rachel had been leaving with us. I sent him a photo of the girl who was with us now, playing with John, and Chris replied, Who's that? The last time I'd seen Ida with Chris, she was a baby who couldn't even walk. Suddenly, it hit me, this child Rachel brought over every week might not be Ida, but then why was Rachel bringing her? Chris and I were both confused. John, who'd been listening to the call, spoke up hesitantly. Chris, I'm sorry if this sounds rude, but, has Rachel been acting strange lately? John and I had talked about this before. After Rachel's parents passed away, she seemed different, and we stopped seeing her at family gatherings. The Rachel I remembered was modest in her style, but lately, she'd been dressing in bright colors and wearing flashy accessories. Chris seemed to have noticed this change, too, and responded with a dejected, yeah. I guess. He sighed and then said, I might have an idea about what's going on. I'll call you back later. Then he hung up. John and I felt sorry for Chris, but couldn't help wondering if Rachel might be cheating on him. We didn't know for sure, though, and decided to leave that part to Chris. But what we could do was try to find out more about this little girl who'd been staying with us. Turning to her, I asked gently, Ida, you're 3, right? Can you tell us your full name? We'd assumed she was Ida and had never thought to ask. If she wasn't really Ida, we needed to know. With a cheerful smile, the girl replied, I'm Ida Johnson, I'm 3 years old. John and I exchanged glances, trying to hide our shock. We smiled and praised her, saying, You said that so well, all while feeling increasingly uneasy. I'd never heard of the last name Johnson in our family, So I realized we didn't know who this child really was or where she came from. Of course, it wasn't her fault, but something strange was definitely going on. Hoping to help my brother, I messaged him on WhatsApp to let him know that the girl staying with us called herself Ida Johnson. He replied briefly, "Got it, thanks." That afternoon, my brother showed up at our home with another person and asked, "Sorry to bother you, but I need to discuss something with Rachel when she comes to pick up Ida. Can we wait here?" I agreed, feeling a bit relieved. After everything Rachel had done, I didn't feel like forgiving her. Later, as evening turned into night, Rachel finally arrived, stumbling in, clearly drunk. "I'm here, Peter. I came to pick you up," she slurred. Not knowing what was about to unfold, I greeted Rachel with a forced smile. "Welcome home, Rachel. You seem really drunk. How about a glass of water?" Rachel smirked. "That'd be nice. Is this your way of apologizing for what you said this morning?" She walked into the living room, where Ida was happily sitting on the lap of a woman who was looking at Rachel sternly. Rachel looked at the woman with confusion and asked, "Who's that? Did you hire a babysitter?" The woman introduced herself. "Nice to meet you. I'm Katie Johnson, Ida's mother." Rachel was so shocked that she couldn't even take the glass of water. I'd never heard of anyone named Johnson in our family, so we had no idea where this little girl actually came from or who she was. Still, it was obvious that none of this was her fault. Hoping it might help, I messaged my brother to let him know the girl with us called herself Ida Johnson. He just replied, "Got it, thanks." That afternoon, my brother arrived at our house with someone else. He asked, "Sorry to bother you, but could we stay here until Rachel comes to pick up Ida? There's something I need to discuss with her." I was happy to help, especially since I felt betrayed by Rachel and wasn't in the mood to forgive her. As the evening turned into night, Rachel finally showed up, staggering into the house, clearly drunk. "I'm home," she slurred. "Peter, I came to pick you up." Unaware of what was about to happen, I put on a fake smile and greeted her. "Welcome, Rachel. You look pretty drunk. How about a glass of water?" She smirked and replied, "That would be nice. Is this your way of apologizing for the nonsense you said this morning?" When the cheerful Rachel entered the living room, she found Ida happily playing on the lap of a woman sitting there. Rachel stared at the woman, who was looking back at her sternly. "Who's that? Did you hire a babysitter?" Rachel asked, confused. The woman introduced herself calmly. "Nice to meet you. I'm Katie Johnson, Ida's mother." Rachel was so shocked she couldn't even take the glass of water. As I offered Rachel a hand, she stumbled backward, bumped into a corner, and fell over. I didn't move to help her up, watching as she lay sprawled on the floor. Then I heard my brother's voice from the doorway. "I brought him," Chris said, entering the house with a man who had bright, dyed hair. Rachel, still on the floor, looked shocked to see both Chris and this man. She turned pale, and the man went pale when he saw Katie, the real mother of the child we thought was Ida. Chris told Rachel and the man to sit down, and they nervously complied, sitting stiffly but looking around with anxious eyes. To keep the tension away from the child, John took the little girl, Ida, to another room. Once everyone was settled, Chris took charge, looking down at Rachel and the man with a serious expression. "I never imagined my own friend would cheat on me with my wife. Isn't that right, Noah?" Noah, who had been friends with Chris since high school, looked terrified. Chris, who had a rough reputation back in the day, was clearly angry. "Rachel. Noah. I can't believe it. And then you left your own child with my sister and her husband as if nothing was wrong. What's that about?" Noah, panicked, stammered in defense. "Rachel came to my salon. She started it. She told me she liked me and wanted to be with me." "Oh, so it's all my fault now?" Rachel snapped. "You were totally into it too." Chris had heard enough. "It doesn't matter who started it. The two of you should start by apologizing." They both tried to apologize, but Noah quickly shifted the blame. He pointed at Katie, who was now crying and visibly furious. "This is Katie's fault. She ignored me. I was lonely, so I cheated. Blame her, not me." Katie, who had been quiet and calm until now, exploded. "Don't you dare blame me. Do you have no self-control? I never imagined you'd leave Ida with strangers while I was at work. I'm so sorry for what you went through," she added, turning to me and John. Katie's anger seemed to unnerve both Noah and Rachel. Rachel tried to justify her actions, saying, "Well, Ashley and John don't have kids. They work from home and have plenty of time, so it was convenient for them." I couldn't hold back anymore. "Just because we don't have children doesn't mean we're here to take care of yours. And how dare you bring a stranger's child into our home under false pretenses? Rachel, trying to brush it off, said, "What's the big deal? I just thought I'd show you what having kids is like. You don't have any of your own anyway." Her words hit hard. "Rachel, you know we've been struggling to have children. You knew about our infertility treatments. It's infuriating that you'd say something like that and take advantage of us." I took a deep breath and continued, "You've been incredibly rude, bringing a stranger's child into our home, acting like we're just free babysitters. And let's be honest, you show up in ridiculous makeup, smelling of heavy perfume, and dressed like you're going to a party." Rachel and Noah sat in silence, finally realizing the hurt and chaos they'd caused. When I finally said everything I had been holding back, Rachel's face turned bright red. She knew she couldn't argue anymore, so she bit her lip and stayed silent. After that, Chris and Katie thoroughly scolded Rachel and Noah. Both couples ended up divorcing, and Rachel and Noah were required to pay hefty educational costs for their children. Chris also shared the story of Rachel and Noah's affair with friends back in Nebraska, and soon the rumor spread to Noah's local hair salon. Noah became the talk of the town, and as a result, he was fired from his job. Rachel, who had always been a housewife with no work experience, struggled to find a job. Since she'd been a stay-at-home wife since college, her job search was difficult. After her parents found out about her cheating, they disowned her, leaving her to scrape by doing odd jobs. In the end, both Rachel and Noah lost their jobs and families due to their affair and were left in a sad and lonely state. As for me, I received an incredible surprise. Our fertility treatments worked. I'm now pregnant, and we're expecting twins. John and I were overjoyed, shedding happy tears as we look forward to our baby's arrival. We still keep in touch with Katie and little Ida, and a special bond has grown between us. Ida and our niece love playing together, and they even touch my belly and say to the babies, "Let's play together once you're born." It's incredibly sweet. Though Chris and Katie were hurt by their partner's betrayal, they've committed to raising their children as single parents. John and I promise to support them however we can. Together, the four of us, John, Chris, Katie, and me, have become close, united in raising Ida, our niece, and the twins we're expecting. Through everything, we've formed a strong, supportive family bond.